You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about Brendan Sorsby. Well, his paths to play football in 2026 looking almost non-existent at this point, unless he decides to do the Hunter Decker's path, which would be play community college, because he did basically the same thing that Brendan Sorsby did. And by the way, he's playing in the NFL. All these avenues to play in professional football look like they're basically closed between now and the NFL draft. Now, the UFL has not announced what their schedule is going to be next year. But even if they started the week after the Super Bowl, I think the UFL season would still be going on when the NFL draft is held, or very close. So I don't know how that would work out. You would have the combine. Would the combine would the combine actually, and I assume Brendan Sorsby would get an invite, but would it conflict, with the UFL game if he was to play? The CFL has banned Brendan Sorsby, at least for now. Wow. It's pretty surprising if you go really dig into the details, because the problem is there's a bunch of pundits out there and they're talking about this, and there's only been a couple of times I've heard specifics, like the fact that Brendan Sorsby may not have placed a bet in like 3 years. And I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, what are we doing here? If he hadn't placed a bet in 3 years or a long ass time, are we really keeping him out of football? With Kayshon Boutte playing right now, that did the same thing Brendan Sorsby did? And it looks more and more like, and look, he's supposedly going to be able to enter the 2027 NFL draft. I've got to wonder, are NFL owners going to get together and be like, nah, we're not drafting him? And one of the things I keep hearing is, well, he needs to pay a price. Well, the kid has paid a price. He's not going to play college football, and he's going to drop in the NFL draft. This kid's punishment is he has lost millions upon millions of dollars now. Plain and simple. So the whole he hasn't been punished is just not accurate. He's cost himself millions of dollars he's not getting back. So, yeah, he's been punished. When he got booted out of college football, that's going to take a toll down the line against him, because I doubt he goes in the first round now. Well, right there, that alone will cost him millions of dollars. He lost the $5 million from Texas Tech. I mean, losing millions of dollars, it's pretty harsh punishment, at least as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about you guys, unless y'all just walking around with all kinds of money. Losing millions of dollars is a punishment. So the CFL has barred this kid at this point. He's not coming in. The NFL won't let quarterback Brendan Sorsby join any of its teams in 2026. The CFL won't either. Quote, upholding the integrity of the league and ensuring fair competition are paramount to the CFL. The CFL said in a statement to USA Today, the allegations involving Brendan Sorsby are serious and concerning. At this time, the CFL will not register a contract for him, and no team will be permitted to add him to its negotiation list. Sorsby has no inclination to play in the CFL, which started in 2026 regular season June 4th. His primary options seem to be challenging the NFL's decision as to the supplemental draft in court, accepting that he won't be able to be drafted by an NFL team until April of 2027. Well, it looks like he's going to take his medicine. Because as of 2:50 p.m., we're closing in on the end of business day for league offices for the NFL. It looks like Brendan Sorsby is not going to sue the NFL. He hasn't made any moves yet. It's been 2 days since the NFL told quarterback Brendan Sorsby he won't be conducting a supplemental draft next month, despite his lawyer Jeffrey Kessler issuing a bellicose statement suggesting a legal challenge is coming. Nothing has happened. With each passing hour, it becomes less and less likely that anything will happen. If Sorsby sues, he'll seek prompt relief aimed at forcing the NFL to conduct its supplemental draft next month. What is also weird about the whole thing is the NFL did this, and there's nothing in the rules that would state that the NFL shouldn't have a draft because he's coming out. Like, he is a player that is technically eligible for the supplemental draft. So the confusion is, why did they make a judgment call? They should have just had a supplemental draft. There wasn't anything to make a judgment call on. He was eligible for the supplemental draft. And instead, they chose, and then they brought up things they weren't provided and this and that and the other. And it's like, yeah, but there's not really anything to give you. He checks the boxes. So in other words, they're the NFL's made a morality decision when that's not how it's supposed to be. In the case of having a supplemental draft, you got a player that's eligible, then you have the draft. By the way, the UFL, in case you're wondering, I'm sure a lot of people are, the UFL has invited Brendan Sorsby to come play. Now, it would be next spring, but they have invited him to come play. The owner, Mike Rapoli, has already extended a formal invitation, by the way, to play for the Dallas Renegades. Mike Rapoli invited Sorsby to play for the Dallas Renegades next year. Welcome to the UFL, Brendan Sorsby. The UFL is a league of opportunity. We created a regional player initiative to keep great players closer to home, closer to fans, and on the field. Let's do this. Brendan Sorsby, welcome to the Dallas Renegades. Have your people call my people. Right there. And that's him, I guess, in uniform. So, yeah, Mike Rapoli didn't waste any time. And this was a couple of days ago that he invited Brendan Sorsby to come play in the UFL. It's a weird dynamic. I mean, it's like a moral high horse situation when you got guys. I mean, I meant to make a recording on the Terrion Arnold kidnapping, all that, and I'm like, there's a chance this guy still plays in the league this year. Deshaun Watson, 30 civil lawsuits. So you may be like, why are you so concerned about Brendan Sorsby? Because you got real scumbags playing in the league. And this kid made some bets 3 years ago. All the while, and I've got nothing against gambling at all, but all the while, the NFL is sucking off DraftKings and FanDuel at the same time. I mean, the hypocrisy in this bullshit is wild. By the way, Pete Rose should have long since been in the Hall of Fame, too. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Tell me what you think. I don't think he plays. I think he's just going to have to find a quarterback's coach, probably an ex-NFL coach, and start training for the 2027 draft is what it looks like. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.